There's that old saying, politeness costs nothing and buys everything.
Yeah.
We all sort of nod along, right? But have you ever really stopped to think if politeness is just, well, good manners? Or is there something deeper, maybe more strategic going on? Today, we're doing a deep dive into an article called The Currency of Politeness: How to Manage Social Status and Influence People.
Yeah, exactly. And our goal here really is to pull out the core insights. We want to look at how politeness can be this subtle psychological tool, a tool for influence, for navigating social hierarchies, and make it genuinely useful for you.
Okay, so let's start with that foundation. This idea that human society is, well, inherently hierarchical. We're always kind of sizing each other up, figuring out the social ladder. So how does politeness fit into that? How does it actually boost someone's status?
Well, it's fascinating, actually. When you're polite to someone, you're essentially sending a signal, an unspoken one. You're saying, I see you, I recognize your status, maybe even as high status. You're symbolically bumping them up a rung on that ladder. It ties in really well with Irving Goffman's theory of face work. You know, the idea that we all have this public image, this face. Politeness helps protect and maintain that face for others. And crucially, doing that earns you goodwill. It's reciprocal.
Right, that makes sense. Maintaining the face.
Yeah.
But the article mentions a really important nuance, doesn't it? About who is being polite. Why does the source matter so much?
Ah, yes, that's critical. Basically, the status boost you get from politeness, it really only lands, it only feels valuable if it comes from someone you perceive as having equal or maybe even higher status than you. Think about it, right? An intern compliments your work. Nice, you say thanks. It's expected, maybe. But if the CEO praises that exact same work, suddenly your status feels boosted, both in your eyes and probably in others too. So politeness from someone lower down can feel like, well, an obligation. From a peer, it's mutual respect. But from someone perceived as higher status, that's a gift. And that's where this idea of invisible leverage comes in. The person giving the high status politeness gains this subtle influence.
Invisible leverage. I like that.
Yeah.
So, okay, if you're not the CEO, how do you build that kind of perceived status? How do you make your politeness feel like that valuable currency?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it? And the theory of symbolic interactionism gives us some clues. It suggests people react to the meaning they assign to things, not just the things themselves. So if it's about the symbols you project, the article points to a few key ones. First, appearance. Looking neat, appropriate. Quality clothes can function almost like a uniform signaling competence or status. Second, your demeanor. Are you projecting confidence? That means things like, good posture, a calm gaze, using measured gestures, not fidgeting. And third, how you speak. Calmly, clearly, using pauses. It signals you're not rushed, you expect to be heard. When you combine these signals with genuine politeness, that's when it becomes really powerful.
Okay, so it's really about managing the perception of status through these symbols, rather than just relying on a formal title. That's interesting. But the article also flags that potential pitfall, the fine line between confidence and arrogance. How do you stay on the right side of that?
Yeah, that's a super important distinction. It really comes down to this. Confidence combined with politeness works to enhance the other person's status. The message is sort of, I'm secure in my status and I recognize and respect yours. It elevates both. Arrogance, though, does the opposite. It implicitly or explicitly demotes the other person. It's an attack on their face, their self-image. And that's just, well, counterproductive if you're trying to persuade someone or build a good working relationship. It pushes people away.
Right, it undermines the whole goal. Okay, so we've dug into the mechanics, the psychology behind it. Let's make it practical. For someone listening, what are the key takeaways? What does this all mean for you in day-to-day life?
I think the bottom line is that being consciously polite is a really low-cost, potentially high-return strategy. It's accessible. Think about leadership. A manager who uses politeness effectively often builds more loyal, more motivated teams. People want to work for them in negotiations. Politeness can lower the other side's defenses, make them more open to finding common ground, and just in general networking, right? People are naturally drawn to individuals who make them feel respected and, frankly, important. You're essentially gifting status.
So could it be that consciously choosing to invest in politeness, seeing it as this currency, is actually one of the most underrated, maybe even accessible superpowers out there? Something anyone can use to navigate their career, their relationships, just more effectively. Makes you think.